Welcome back. Today we're going to give this guy a skin fade with a 3 on top. I'm using the 3.5 on the detachable clipper. We're using the Oster Volt. And if anybody's been checking out the IG, I've recently upgraded to the Octane. It's a little quieter, but all in all it's the same machine. And anybody who's not using the detachable, it's really going to speed up your time. I mean, you're only going to have to make a few passes with this. And even if this blade goes dull, it's still going to cut better than if I was to put an actual 3 on here. I'd have to go over it, 10 extra times, and anybody who takes the time to look in the mirror after a cut, you're gonna notice there's a couple long ones, and so that's kind of why I take this spray bottle here and I brush it through. A lot of times after you spray it with the water, you're gonna start to see these little ones start to pop up, and it's the perfect time to go back through again and just knock those little ones out. You'll be the barber who does it when somebody else doesn't, and if somebody looks in the mirror afterwards, they're gonna see that it's absolutely perfect. And then we're just going to go above the parietal ridge here. I got a number 2 on here, and I just want to remove some of this bulk before I put in the line. Of course, I could have put in the skin line right here, but I chose to remove the bulk so I could actually see where I'm putting the line in. It just really depends on what your client comes in with and how long their hair is, because you want to make it easy. So another little tip I'll do, I got the 5-0 on this clipper. I don't use a trimmer to bald out ever. I just don't want my trimmer to be getting dull. I don't want to overwork a machine that's not really made for it. This thing is going to knock out the line real fast. I'm going to wind up putting in this line real fast and just getting rid of all this bulk quickly. Now notice how I jumped to the right side of his head before I try to finish it. Don't try to follow your way all the way around the entire head to the other side, because you'll be off. I mean, 90% of the time you're not going to be right on the money, but if you jump to the other side, you can make sure it's perfect, and then you could just jump to the back here and look how easy it is to connect it. So I just connect it. You don't want it to be really off, but if it's off a little bit, it's still okay, because once you blend it out, you're not even going to notice the difference. So towards the bottom of this line, we want to make sure that we wipe that hair all the way out. We want to take it down to absolutely skin, and I got the Bronze Series 9 in here just to help me do it. As I get closer to that 5-0 line, I'm going to begin reducing tension and flipping out, and you're going to see that this machine is very easy to blend with. So if anybody's ever used this machine, you're going to know that it's very easy to blend with. Also, it's very good for sensitive skin, and it doesn't cause any kind of irritation, when in some cases some clients have experienced that kind of irritation. I got a close up here with the GoPro showing you that I'm going down with the grain at the top of that line in some cases, or I'm flipping out, or I'm just lightly touching it. Now the nice thing about going from the 5-0 to this is the fact that it's such a small jump that it makes it very easy to perfect the blend, and this is just kind of the way that I do it. At the very bottom, you can feel free to press as hard as you want to remove all that bulk, and then we're just going to begin the fade with the open taper. I got the 357s from Caliber. Shout out to Caliber for hooking me up like you did at the show, and I'm going to be giving away a 50 cal pretty soon too, but let's stay on point here. I got this open taper, and I'm going to create this secondary guideline. Now you're going to see that you're gonna create this guideline about the width of 1 inch, and a lot of people have asked me to make a video like this where I show every clipper move, every lever move, and I would say before with other clippers that didn't have notches in it, that would have been almost impossible, because I just tend to just tap it a little bit at a time, and it was kind of hard to decide how much I was tapping it when you were watching the videos. But now I'm gonna go 1 click and check out this crisscross pattern. I'm staying just below where I was. I'm actually angling it off of the head, off of the scalp just slightly, but I'm keeping it anchored and I'm keeping it flat. Keeping that clipper flat is really going to help you to pick up those hairs, and I'm just crisscrossing back and forth. Now I'm going to click it one more time, and I'm going to stay just lower than I was in the previous step, and you're going to see that line is going to start to dissipate. 1 click at a time, we just go down. So 1 more click, and we're almost at the very bottom. You're going to see this line just about start to wipe out completely. And I was running the ceramics. The Caliber company sent me a pair of ceramics, a bunch of them actually, just to try them out, see how I liked them. And so that's all that is. That's just a pretty standard blade. It's very much like the 1006 blade. And I zero gapped it, and you can see that it can handle those skin lines pretty easy. Next step, we're going to skip the half. We're going to jump to the 1. We got it wide open. And we're going to repeat the same process. We're basically creating a secondary guideline above, but notice how I'm sort of hanging it off the head, going against the grain and softening that. That's going to really help you when you go into that next step. There's going to be a lot less to do with the 1 1/2. And we're just going to begin the same process we did before. 1 click, and we're going to start working our way down and just watching that line, you'll see how it starts to dissipate, you'll see it start to go away, you'll see it start to look clean. But of course there's going to be some residual here. Why is there going to be residual here? Because we skipped the half guard, right? So after this process is complete, we'll just be returning to the half guard, and we'll finish that line off entirely. Now, a lot of people are telling me that they struggle with skin fades, they can't get harsh lines out. Some people say don't put harsh lines in. Well, I would say to all of those people that it's very possible that your clippers or your trimmers might not be set up properly to help you to remove those lines. And if that's the case, yeah, you're gonna struggle even if you do try to follow the steps. So you kind of got to know and make sure that your setup is on point. And I have a setup video on this exact same subject, so if you need to refer to it, by all means do that. So we're coming in with the half now, and I'm just gonna go over that little area where I'm starting to see that little bit of darkness. It's not really a line, it's more of a shadow. And at this point, you're gonna start to see it start to go away. It's gonna be in good shape before you know it, and you can start clicking it down the same way that you did in the previous step, one by one by one. Next click down, and pretty soon you're gonna see that the entire thing starts to clear out. It starts to look fresh, and your blend is gonna be on point. Now, I've had a lot of you guys asking me to go back to the half attack, show me the half attack again, and I gotta be honest, I've experimented around with this clipper a lot, and I'm starting to notice that this actually performs better when I use the open taper attack over that. And I've just found that my blends have come out smoother with less fight, and I just prefer to do it this way again in this particular clipper. Now, as you see, these lines are starting to go away, the shadow's starting to go away, the blend's starting to look pretty fresh. He's kind of got his head tipped over to the right a little bit, but when I tip it back, you'll start to see that the blend is coming out. We got a little bit of darkness in the very front, but that's okay because we're going to use that for the edge up anyways. And once we're done with this step, we can easily go back in with the 1 1/2 and finish up that cleanup. So just taking those steps down one at a time. And I'm over here experimenting with like a little bit of a different format. If this is something that you guys like, you like these short videos that are just direct, straight to the point, where I just explain myself, please in the comments, just leave it in the comments and let me know. Otherwise, I also have a giveaway going on the Oster Fast Feeds. It's running for 7 days from the date that I released that video. So go ahead and check that out. Leave a comment in that video, and maybe you can win the Oster Fast Feed Home Front Edition. So I'm just going back in and I'm detailing it. I'm keeping it on a corner. I'm just using the angles a little bit, and I'm just kind of letting my eyes tell me where to go. And think of this as kind of like texturizing for clippers, like any little dark spots that you might come across, and that's it. A lot of people ask me, where do I start my edge ups? Well, first off, I just want to say that, this guy, I'm not really giving him a true edge up. I'm sort of just cutting his bangs off and making it so that it looks perfectly, but I'm trying not to cut into his hairline much at all. That's kind of the way I do things. I don't like to push people back. I don't like to create that grow back for that client who, maybe he'll look fresh when he leaves the shop, but 3 days later, he's going to run into somebody, he's going to have all these little hairs all over his forehead, and his edge ain't going to look so great. So trust me, it'll look a lot better if you just take your time and don't cut too much. And just step back, look at it a few times, use your mirror. And of course, I'm filming, so I'm not even able to really use my mirror, but I still managed to double look and have another check at it and make sure it's good. So now one more time, I'm actually going to spray him a little bit with some water and just double check and make sure that I didn't leave any hair, and make sure that I don't have any of those little ones sticking up. And especially in the edge, you can kind of see like his grains growing a couple different ways. It's very easy to miss some of those hairs, so go back through and just make sure you're holding that clipper flat and make sure that you got everything, and then that's going to help your edge pop out a little bit too. Now I'm just going to go through, hit him up with the razor in the eyebrows. I like to use a little reverse backhand there on the right eyebrow, well, left eyebrow, his left eyebrow, and then you could pretty much use freehand on the rest of it. But sometimes, if you feel like you can get in there easier from one step, I do this standing off to my client's right, so I'm standing on the left side of him, so I use a couple different strokes to do that. Otherwise, I would have to just jump to the other side and finish it out there. So before I shave him, of course, I'm going to put some shaving gel on him, just to make sure that I don't get any snags or accidentally cut him or anything like that. I don't want that to happen because I'm filming and you guys will never let me hear the end of it, right? So I'm just going to go back through. I'm going to clean him up with the razor, and he's going to be looking the way he did in the beginning of this video. Sometimes on this side I like to come just directly against the grain if there isn't much hair there. Like I said, I didn't really bite into his hairline too much, so essentially really all I'm cleaning up right now is just like that vellus hair, that little stuff that grows, and you know, that's gonna be about it. So we're kind of at a point now where this is going to be about a wrap. I'm just going to go around the back and sides of his head with the razor, make sure I got everything down below and near the ear. So, you know, like when you're going around the ear with the 5-0 line and all that stuff, you know, you're going to leave a little bit of residual anyways for the razor. So, you know, another thing that I do to save time is I just take that razor at the end and just clean it up. So I don't go too crazy trying to make sure I get every little hair prior to that. So, alright you guys, well I hope this video helped. I hope you liked it. I hope you know, if anybody's got any questions, you just leave them down below. Click that subscribe button, click that like button, check this channel out if you have not already, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's Mr. Eddie Barber and I'm out.